little bit. We saw a clip of you going after Matt Walsh because Matt Walsh, we agree, whereas we're not. I don't know. We're not against trans. We're not pro-trans, but we don't agree with the whole trans ideology.
We're more against the trans movement targeting children
and women and taking women's spaces.
Taking women's spaces. It's really where it's at.
But we're not Daily Wire fans. We're not Ben Shapiro fans. We're not Matt Walsh fans, and we wholeheartedly hate the fact that they're obsessed with the trans stuff. Like
the Republican Party right now, there's a lot of it's like all trans.
It's obsessive.
Like.
It's obsessive.
But I think that has a lot to do with the DeSantis campaign,
right?
And that he's running his entire campaign on that. And when you look at the Daily Wire, they're big supporters of Ron DeSantis, and will probably end up endorsing him now that he's announced his run. But we think it's cringe because realistically, I see more of Dylan Mulvaney from the Daily Wire than I do from liberals. Like I wouldn't even know that Dylan Mulvaney existed if it wasn't because of the obsessive.
We had to turn off. We had to mute all of the Daily Wire hosts because I would open up YouTube and it was like Brett Cooper, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Mike, literally like it was like obsessive. But tell us your thoughts more on like the children's stuff that you were arguing against Matt Walsh.
Goddamn. Are these the only two conservatives that think for themselves? One of the biggest issues I have with conservatives is not necessarily their ideology. I mean, clearly I'm not a conservative, so I disagree a lot with them in terms of their ideology. But that's not the issue. I don't expect to agree with anybody in anything. I disagree with a lot of stuff with my own family. My father is hugely religious. He's a pastor. His whole life has been church. So massively disagree with him on many things. I'm not religious at all, right? And I've always been very independent thinker. That's not a political thing. That's just who I am. So when I say independent thinker, I mean just in terms of how I live my life, who I am, right? I am who I am, right? I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm not trying to get validation from others. I'm not trying to fit in, right? I'm trying to enjoy life, pursue my passions, pursue my hobbies, my career. That's what I'm about, right? So when I ride motorcycles and everybody else around me is wearing jeans and a t-shirt, right? I'm not going to change my gear to fit in and feel more comfortable. They want to make fun of me because I'm wearing my gear. I'm taking it more seriously than they are. They want to, distort things and pretend as if like I'm somehow afraid or something, when, let me tell it, all I'm doing is crossing the road, but before I do, looking both ways. If you look both ways before you cross the street, like I learned in Sesame Street, that's not because you're afraid. It's just due diligence, right? When I'm riding a bike, I wear my gear. I've done a lot of training to keep myself safe, right? But I'm not going to change my behavior and what I'm doing, again, to fit in. The whole community can be against me and say what I'm doing is stupid and doesn't make any sense and whatever. But as long as I feel that what I'm doing is the correct thing and I can justify it with logic and facts, I'm going to continue on that path. I'm not going to be swayed, right? So I can't be someone so against the grain and then fault others for being against my grain in terms of I believe one way, you believe another way. That's not the issue. What the issue is that you're a conservative, you believe in family values and small government and low taxes and things like that. You believe in traditional roles. You believe you know what a woman is, right? The issue I have is not those things, but is to have those values and then to be completely silent when you see buffoons pandering to you and pretending to have those values. These corrupt GOP members, especially the newer ones. And it's weird how, the establishment Republicans are known to be corrupt. Many Republican voters will agree with that. But then they're so anti that they look at the new, even more corrupt members as somehow better. It's like anything else but that. The same thing you see with the blue MAGA, these left-wingers that all they do is attack the left and Democratic Party. You know, they're so anti-Democrat that they just fall off the table with it and go to the extreme where they're in alignment with people who are politically inverse, right? You have people that are far right that are agreeing with you on a lot of different things, and it's kind of like, where you really at, man? But that's when you use just hyper focus on, I just want to be against Democrats, right? So in my view, conservatives who are true independent thinkers and are real conservatives, meaning their values are really important to them, would be offended by people like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, Fox News, Newsmax, AON, pretty much the entire Republican Party, which is a clown show, which is cartoonish, which make conservatives look bad, right? People who are not conservatives are looking at the buffoonery happening in the Republican Party, and they're looking at the silence of conservatives as basically that conservatives support this kind of nonsense, right? Look at all the stuff with Donald Trump. And no matter what he does, what he gets exposed for, silence, right? A lot of talk about Democrats are horrible and the left is this and they've gone too far. But no matter what Republicans are doing, silence. You got, Republicans and their allies doing things like jerking off across from a school. I think there was a couple of them found with child porn on their computers. You have Matt Gaetz. You may believe he didn't do anything with child sex trafficking, but his good friend did and is in prison for that, right? You got a guy who won very, by good margin, who was friends with a child sex trafficker, right? So even if you want to put it and say, well, maybe he didn't know, a man that would have the judgment to be closely associated with someone so disgusting, and it wasn't just child sex trafficking, this guy was so corrupt, such a criminal. So why did Matt Gaetz end up being associated with this guy? So even if you believe he didn't do no child sex trafficking, whatever, at a minimum, this guy is incompetent in terms of his ability to judge character, right? I mean, you're not going to find me close friends with some child sex trafficker, right? A guy as disgusting as that is going to have so many red flags that I'm going to be like, something's off about this guy. I don't know. I'm not inclined to be friends with that person. But Matt Gaetz, he didn't see any of that stuff, right? In my view, if American conservatives were really independent thinkers, and were really about the things that they say they are, they would be the biggest enemies of the Republican Party. They would be the biggest critics of conservative media, right? Who would be more upset with what conservative media does but a conservative, a true conservative, right? Well, it's because think about it, they're the ones who are most affected. So you have this ideology that you believe in, it's really important to you. And you have these individuals, these opportunists online making a mockery of it, right? Giving ammunition to your political opponents to be like, look at you guys are all crazy. It's almost like people can say whatever they want to me, insult me, call me names. Words don't matter, just from random people. But if it's someone that I love, as a family member, that changes things a lot. Now, I'm not saying that conservatives would love the conservative media, but this is your ideology, and these people are making a mockery of it. And to me, I'd take that personally, right? If I were a conservative, I would be the loudest person calling out right-wing media. I wouldn't have any time to be worrying about the left and Democrats and whatever. My time would be focused on the party I vote for and the people who are pretending to have my ideology, making millions of dollars doing it, which is the point. Right? Those are my thoughts. And I'm going to offend people. I'm always going to give people the raw, whether they like it or not. Not here to make friends, not here to make people feel good, not here to validate your feelings, not here to, protect a tribe or argue for a tribe or whatever. I ain't got time for that. This is the Bateman channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. It is hot as hell. You notice how my face has been greasy lately? Right? I'm inside saving money, no AC on, just got the fan going. I have a nice, powerful fan, commercial, something from Lowe's or something. Really good, but loud. God damn, I had to turn it off for this video. So let's go turn that fan back on. I just thought of, whoopsie, Timcast. What up, Andrew?